Good morning, Buffets. Today is Monday, July 4th, and today was a really strange day. I got up reasonably early. I read my book. I made sure to read my book, and then I was going to make my video, and then things came up. And I mean, in fact, I say things came up like a big deal happened, but it really didn't. It was just like a little tangent that just took me off and had me doing something else. And then all of a sudden, it gets to like 12 o'clock at night. I just remembered that I've got to make a video, and now I'm really tired. It's funny how the mind works that way. Anyway, this week I read Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. It's hard to put my finger on why I bought this. I'd seen a couple of things online. A couple of you have read Scott Westerfeld books and recommended them highly. And then I found it in a bookshop and I read the premise, and it seemed quite Hunger Games-esque. The premise is that everyone that's born normal, or our version of normal, is considered ugly, and on their 16th birthday they turn pretty. They go through some surgical operation, and what operations aren't surgical? Anyway, they have an operation and they turn pretty and they go live somewhere else. And I thought this book was going to be like a study on like what it means, like what beauty actually means, and an attack on the idea of beauty that we've created in our society. And I suppose it was. And I say it like that because reading the back of the book, reading the summary of it, it was then as well. It was in that little paragraph. The little paragraph explaining what the book was about also explained its criticisms and its attack on what it means to be beautiful. And reading the entire book did not alter anything. And I finished this book thinking, well, yeah, of course, it's a young adult book. And that's something I really resent thinking because of John Green books that I've read and because of The Hunger Games. This is definitely not The Hunger Games, by the way. It has a similar sort of feel to it in terms of a kind of futuristic reality. But for me, the future that The Hunger Games sets out is far more realistic than the future that this puts forward. Ultimately, I always just felt like there was something missing from this book. I mean, the plot was engaging enough and it kept me reading, but there was like, I never felt connected to it. I never felt like this is a thing that could happen. For me, it just felt like Scott Westerfeld thought, oh, that's a cool idea, I'll put that in there. Oh, hoverboards, I love hoverboards, let's throw some hoverboards in. And the characters weren't really relatable for me. I mean, even now, when I've just thought to tell you the main character's thing before I did this jump cut, I went to say the main character's name, and I went, Tally, her name is, and I just had to look at the back of the book, even though I finished it today, to remember what her name was. Not the sign of good characters. But I guess don't take my word for it. Like, this book is really highly regarded and a lot of people say it's brilliant, so I don't know, maybe it's just because I've read The Great Gatsby recently and I was expecting a lot more kind of in-depth things to it, but essentially it is just kind of a fun adventure romp, and that's not really what I was looking for, so maybe that's why I didn't like it. So you will remember that I started rereading Harry Potter, and then I stopped. And the reason I stopped, I've worked out. This might not be true, but this, I've kind of delved into the psychology of why I stopped. And what I've come up with is that everyone says The Prisoner of Azkaban is their favourite. Like, well, not everyone, but a lot of people say it is, and I certainly remember it being my favourite. And rereading Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, like, I don't know, I didn't dislike them, but I just felt like, oh, yeah, not as I remembered. A little anticlimactic, a little childish, and I don't want to have that taste in my mouth about this book. But I've been following some people on YouTube who have been reading the Harry Potter books as well, and they don't seem to have that. They seem to say, yes, Azkaban is the better book, so I'm going to give it a go this week. I'm excited and anxious at the same time, so yeah, that's what I'm reading this week. I would like to put forward something. I would like to put forward that our last videos, like from the 26th of August onwards, I think in those videos we should do the top 5 books that we've read for this project and a kind of outroduction, like talking about, the project as a whole and, the sort of stuff that you would do in a last video. The last one's kind of a no-brainer, but the first one I'm curious to see what you guys think. Personally, I would really like to look through all the books that I've read, look at some of my old videos, see what I liked and what I didn't, and kind of put a top 5 out there just to kind of, I don't know, a summary, like a summary and So this project like produced something from us. It produced 5 books that were better than all the rest. I don't know, what you think? I don't have any questions because I answered them yesterday, so I will just say goodbye for now, and Lauren, I will see you tomorrow.